The Tao which can be named as the Tao is not the eternal Tao. The name which can be named is not the eternal name. Without name is the origin of heaven and earth. What is named is the origin of the 10,000 things. Because of this, without longings you catch sight of the miracles. With longings instead you catch sight of the boundaries. Both similar in the end, though wearing different names. Both dark and wonderful. Mysterious and even more mysterious, the gate to numerous wonders. So, welcome back on my channel. Today we start off finally with Dao De Jing, and we start with chapter 1. And I want to say that I use my own translation of the classical text because I don't want to have any copyright issues. So I decided to translate it myself. Of course, I'm inspired by all the different translations I read before, but this is my very own approach to this text. So now let's get into the text and let's have a look on what we can find there. The Tao which can be named as the Tao is not the eternal Tao. So what does this say? It says that the Tao about which we can talk, the word Tao which we use, is not a sufficient description of what the Tao really is. It literally says, and you have to think about that, this is the first chapter of a book called Dao De Jing. So that's the classic about the Tao and the virtue. And in chapter 1, this says the Tao which we can talk about is not the real Tao. Isn't that funny? I think it's a great start. So it says that the word we choose to describe that is not that. Okay, so it literally says that we cannot really describe it with words. And the next sentence links to that, which says the name which can be named is not the eternal name. So the words we choose do not really represent what it is really about. Okay. So those are the first two sentences. It continues. Without name is the origin of heaven and earth. And this is quite interesting because in a lot of worldviews and religions, of course, God is the creator of heaven and earth. And here it is said without name is the origin of heaven and earth. So, and what is without name? It's the Tao. So the Tao is the origin of heaven and earth. And I like to interpret it the way that the Tao is kind of a God which is not personalized. I like to see it as a kind of sea or ocean where everything arises from, and everything will return to in the end. Okay, so that's why, it's a God, but not a person. It's more than a person. It's everything and nothing at the same time and forever. Okay, so that is my interpretation of this. And then it is said, what is named is the origin of the 10,000 things. So there are two realms here which are defined. So on the one hand, we have the realm of that which cannot be named, which is the realm of the Tao. And on the other hand, we have the realm which can be named, which can be defined by names, which is the realm of the 10,000 things. And you have to know that the 10,000 things, that is a phrase which is always used in classical Chinese texts to describe the whole material world. Okay? So, yeah, so everything which is part of our material world can be described with names, and so that's that. And on the other hand, we have the realm of the Tao, which cannot be described by names. Okay? So, because of this, without longings, you catch sight of the miracles. With longings, instead, you catch sight of the boundaries. So this one is very interesting. Because, so, now it is said, without longings, and longings you can also translate as expectations or thoughts on something. So, without longings, you catch sight of the miracles. And that is unbelievably wise. So, I like to explain it with this example. If you look at little kids from 2 to 4 years, they don't have expectations of how things are, or they do not they do not expect things to be in a certain way. So what that means is they look at the world and they see and experience the world just as it is. Okay, so they see a flower and they don't think, oh, that's blah blah blah, any Latin word for that flower, and they only see that flower and they experience the flower, and they have fun with it, and they take it in as an experience, and they don't think about it like in a scientific way as adults do. So and I think that's what is meant here. So children look at the world without expectations, and because they do that, they experience everything as wonderful. Okay. I think there's some kind of light issue on the camera, right? That looks a bit funny. Just want to see. Okay, so what do we do with it? Okay, now it's better again. Okay, let's see whether it works or not. Otherwise, I'll change something. So, okay. So, without longings, you catch sight of the miracles. Without expectations, you experience the wonders of the world directly, like the little children experience the wonders of nature. Without thinking, just by experiencing the world. And I think we adults, of course, we can experience that too when we do something we really love, when we are right in the moment and not thinking, just doing, then we sometimes thinking stops and everything just feels wonderful, and we're concentrated and just in the moment, without any distraction whatsoever. And I think that is when we are in contact with the very Tao. So when we are without expectations, without thoughts, that's when that kicks in. I'll go over here, and I hope it's better now. So because of this, without longings, you catch sight of the miracles. with longings instead, you catch sight of the boundaries. Okay, so when we have expectations of how things are or how things should be, then we are very focused on the boundaries. Okay, then we compare, does the reality fit our expectations or not? Does everything fit together in our head, in our mind? So that is what Western scientists normally look for. They have an idea about how things work, and then they experiment whether their expectations or their thoughts are correct compared to the world. So that is about thinking, about comparing, about the boundaries. Okay, that is about the boundaries, about the ideas, about correct or false. Okay, that's just a very different view on the world compared to the view of little children. So that's a distinction made here. Both similar in the end, though wearing different names. What does this mean? This means that from a viewpoint of the Tao, it really doesn't matter at all whether we behave like those children, looking at the wonders of the world, looking without seeing the boundaries, looking freely and just experiencing the world, or whether we sit in a laboratory and act like Western scientists, looking at the very details, expecting things, measuring things. We can do both. It is not like, from a Taoist viewpoint, it really doesn't matter in the end what we do. Okay, so that is said here. Both is dark and wonderful. Okay, so both ways we can see wonderful things. On both ways we can, both is mysterious. In both realms we can ask a lot of questions. We can find a lot of answers. We can we can just have fun with it and experience it and enjoy it. Both is dark and wonderful. Okay, so like I said in the sentence before, it really doesn't matter from a Taoist point of view. Both is dark and wonderful. And the last sentence, mysterious and even more mysterious, the gate to numerous wonders. Okay, so there seems to be an emphasis on the sentence before. Mysterious and even more mysterious. Okay, so and in classical Chinese, and even in today's Chinese, when you just repeat a word, when you just repeat a Chinese character, then it's kind of like more of that, stronger. Okay, so mysterious and even more mysterious. The gate to numerous wonders. So on both ways, okay, so the way of the Tao, getting away from thought, away from the measuring things, away from the boundaries of the mind, that's mysterious and even more mysterious, and that's the gate to numerous wonders. Okay, so and on the other hand, like I said before, when we go the scientific way, the Western scientific way, looking at the things, looking at the details, looking at the shape of things, it's also a gate to numerous wonders. Okay, it's also a treasure that can be found, can be explored. Okay, so all in all, the chapter 1 is, like I said in the beginning, it's kind of a definition by not defining anything. It's very interesting, but at the same time, it's kind of a appreciation of the world. and of both sides, of both realms of the world, the material world as well as the Tao, so that which can be not described, that which we have to experience ourselves. I would say the techniques by which you can experience the Tao, or the realm of the spiritual, if you will, of course, those are meditation, those are prayer, those are being like a child, directly experiencing the world without thinking too much about it. So that's the one way, and the other way is like I said, Western scientific thought. So that's my personal interpretation of the Dao De Jing chapter 1. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you join me again when I talk about the chapter 2. So, have a good day. Bye-bye. Hello folks, if you like this video, please feel free to view another one. I hope to see you soon. Have fun. Bye-bye.